Okay, so I think we all remember when our great President Biden uh, made sure to boast about his great economy, the booming economy that our nation would have under his administration, and made very clearly, or he openly bashed the Trump admin's economy, saying it is uh, lower than it's ever been. It's hurt us. It is not a great economy, largely due to the coronavirus, but Joe made sure to leave that part out, mostly just stating how poor the Trump economy was, despite Trump breaking records. But, you know, that's just the nature of politics. So Joe Biden's tax plan has been boasted, especially by himself and many of those in preference of progressive tax systems. They often uh, pushed this narrative by saying things like it will only affect the rich or it will only affect big corporations. Unfortunately, that is just not the case. It is simply not true. Joe made that very clear quite early on so far, uh, terminating the pipeline, which in turn terminated a large number of jobs, well paying jobs, keep in mind. Also raising gas and oil prices. Where I live, gas is up 30 to 40 cents, somewhere around that. That's a pretty big jump. Uh, I have a prediction that Joe Biden's fuel prices will be probably record high. I could be wrong. I don't see myself being wrong if he continues on this track. Uh, anyway, uh, many analyses of the tax plan show this is not so. Uh, One analysis by the American Experiments magazine, in fact, uh, and the Tax Foundation found several things. One, the first and big one being that our country's GDP would in fact decline around 1.4 to 1.5% in the long run. That's not something positive, especially considering China's GDP is on the rise and will continue to be, uh, because we are once again going to become very dependent on them. Uh, Biden has made this quite clear, and it will probably only get worse. The other thing, uh, so income tax would decline by roughly 6.5% for the top 1%, but that uh, would mean it would decline by 1.7% at least for taxpayers on average by 2030. That's a while off from now, but this is the track that Biden's plan is running. The other thing is we would see like a 2.5, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but roughly 2.5% decline in capital stock. Again, this can be quite bad, especially since the next point made in their analysis was that a little more than 500,000 jobs, full-time equivalent jobs, would be lost, or uh, jobs that are equivalent to full-time jobs, that sort of thing. Those are gone. Okay, uh, so Joe's boasting about this great economy. It's simply not true. Joe Biden's economy is going to be very foreign dependent, despite his efforts to make it green, like with cutting the pipeline, which in fact did not make anything any greener. If anything, it made it less green because instead of transporting these fuels through a pipeline, which is more efficient, they're going to now have to be shipped from Canada to here via truck, plane, boat, whatever the method, because there's no pipeline. Now, we all know that trucks, planes, and boats produce more emissions than cut back on them. And now that we're going to have to use them more to transport our fuels, I think you get the picture. It's going to raise emissions. Um, Joe is systematically dismantling our economy. Okay? Most of our energy comes from fossil fuels. Even though we are slowly transitioning to things like electric cars, nuclear power, uh, Joe basically just grabbed the edges of the rug, the corners of the rug, and ripped them right out from underneath our feet. That is more or less the simplified nature of his plan. Immediately get rid of our fossil fuels, which would be is detrimental to our economy and to our taxes. Uh, in addition to the things I listed just a bit ago, while he does not want to make the immediate jump to $15 an hour, he wants to gradually raise that. Uh, but as we all know, $15 an hour or really anything around that can be quite detrimental. Uh, Employers, especially small businesses, can't pay their employees, or a lot of them cannot afford to pay their employees 15, 13, 14, $15 an hour. It just isn't going to happen. This causes uh, the price of goods to go up to try to accommodate for this raise in pay requirements. So that means cut back on employees, especially for smaller businesses. So more people out of the job, prices on goods go up, which then causes more hurt to our economy. And while the whole idea is to not benefit the rich, in the end, this benefits the rich. Because what this does is hurt the small businesses, right? So the small businesses go out of business. Everybody is forced to run to the big corporations. You can't go to down the street to the corner to the mom and pop shop to buy your bread and your eggs anymore, right? You got to go up the road and go to the Costco or the Walmart or the Target because they are the only ones that can afford to pay this minimum wage. They are the only ones that can afford to operate in this. Big banks, there's no more small banks. Just overall, the large corporations, the rich, uh, and more accurately, the rich, the elite, the ones that Biden wants to stop allowing to, get away with treating the lower class, cheating us out, raking in money. The whole point is to stop that, but in the end, he only increases that. It might not be right away, but as he increases his uh, minimum wage, and among other things, it slowly drives the small mom and pop businesses, the little banks, the little stores, that sort of thing. They are forced to close their doors. Everybody is forced to go to the big corporations like Amazon, Target, Walmart, that sort of thing. So uh, basically, Joe Biden, while attempting to uphold his plan, is in fact doing the opposite. And while he's at it, he is only hurting us Americans and our nation more. But so hopefully those who voted for him are enjoying themselves because what they voted for, they are in fact not going to get, especially in the long run.